Welcome to the Clashing of Steel.
And today I'm having some fun with Boudica. I mean, I love to play War Dogs. They can be wonderful, but then again, there are some moments where they can literally be horrible. In this match, I nearly found no use for myself until I surprisingly enough discovered something interesting. And, well, I never like to go first with War Dogs, because if there are archers or anything, the dogs are gonna suffer quite heavy casualties. Catapults, everything pretty much hurts the War Dogs massively. There are ways around it, ways to counter certain attacks, with War Dogs splitting them up, using corners, whatever. But in the open, if there should be archers, catapults, javelins are probably one of the worst kind, although the War Dogs will be close by then usually. Still, one of the biggest counters probably is the horsemen, the cavalry. The charge can devastate the numbers of the dogs you have, and dogs don't seem to counter it as easily as well. Almost used the charge a bit to my friendly horseman. If that stacked charge would have gone into the slingers, maybe more precisely into the rear, they would have been done pretty much instantly. Actually, I'm finding a big problem here. I just don't have anything to do. I don't have anywhere to use them. Perfect use would be phalanx, or to use them to flank opponents that are engaged. But we have only one swordsman, behind whom are archers, so that would be kind of risky on this side. As they are pushing, it seems to be working. I don't think I can make a lot of difference here, as much as I would like to. I mean, there are spearmen against whom I could send my war dogs, but even if the ranged units fire upon engaged spearmen, who are engaged by the war dogs, the dogs are gonna suffer a ton more. And that is weird, considering that the war dogs will go really deep inside the unit. I think the spearmen should suffer equally, if not even more. That way war dogs would be really good against any phalanx units, and archers could not help them out. At least not from shooting the war dogs that are engaged over their friendlies. Because that right now about the war dogs seems to be the biggest problem for me. War dogs can work, they can be nasty. But the big problem is they take massive damage if they are even engaged and the archers are just shooting over their friendlies into these dogs. Mainly considering that you can't use war dogs against sword shield infantry as you could use them against phalanx. Sword shield infantry is something you have to harass. And considering you can sometimes take phalanx head on, you can't do the same often enough with the swordsman. Damn catapult. So big problem during this match has been that I have no targets to engage with, but there is some hope. And I have a little plan. The dogs went after the slingers instead of the archers, but okay. Well, my plan is simple. I saw something nice behind our base, and I'm going to defend it. This is probably one of the best targets I can have. They are such a force to reckon with, that they are so hard to deal with often enough, the pikemen. But the war dogs just make them a little annoyance that can easily be dealt with. Oh, and it even seems that he realized what happened, into what he walked. And well, this is gonna be interesting. The phalanx is out of the question right now. Although I did send all of my units in, I probably should have used the other one to flank. Might have been a wee bit more useful. But still, I mean, as long as there are two units trying to fight him, he doesn't know which to deal with. I'm still gonna win. He should deal with the war dogs, because those are just gonna push in front of the handlers. But if he targets the handlers, the war dogs are just gonna do massive damage. So far we're doing pretty equally. Probably one of the biggest problems we have is that opposing elephants are roaming about. And this waste here of the pikemen probably did not help them, because pikemen are actually such a huge game changers. Just in case of a cavalry attack, I have also set one of my handlers and war dogs up so that the cavalry could not charge straight into me. so I'm somewhat trying to defend my rear. Well, I have been invaluable here. I beat these 3 units of pikemen with basically just the loss of 1 war dog unit. This actually doesn't comfort me, because our teams are still pretty much equal, and now opponents actually have the upper hand. They have such heavy, massive units alive that can actually change a lot. So I will try to do a bit of decapping. It's gonna be hard, seeing as the city side is pretty much lost, at least this side. And there went our vision. Although we are capping, it is gonna be rather hard. So first things first, I'm not gonna waste myself just standing inside the base. And I'm gonna try and mass my units into that place one by one, in hopes of avoiding too much unnecessary damage. Oh, they're going for the aggressive cap. I don't have many other options. I need to let loose the dogs. And I need to go after the horsemen, because their charge is the biggest one that is countering me. And damn, they can still do damage. This is not really comforting, seeing as there are elephants. I mean, as wonderful as everything may be, the elephants are probably the biggest annoyance. And of course the damn archers are gonna shoot at me. Oh, is something ever easy? Well, I did get a slight surprise here. Hopefully they didn't see it. But yeah, I guess they realized this is not an easy fight. And hammered from 2 sides at the same time. Oh, how many charges do this bloody horseman have? Again, into my infantry. I need to deal with the horsemen. I just can't deal with the elephants. Oh, they do so annoying massive damage. Really, really bad. But at least we can make a little difference here until they're dealing with my unit. And that's how my war dogs died with the handlers. I mean, we have done some valuable tasks here. We have dealt with the infantry, sword infantry unit, we have dealt with all 3 archer units. And hopefully we have bought enough time for us to capture and win. Probably most biggest annoyance are these horsemen, who pretty much are just keeping us engaged, and because of that I'm just sacrificing my units. I'm going after the horsemen, or at least trying to go, although I should probably switch to spearmen. Oh, they're gonna kill me anyways, it's never easy for me. So this is where I pretty much die. Hopefully I have done enough to delay opponents. Hopefully these swordsmen will delay them a bit more, and maybe we can even win it. So, with my last breath, I am still fighting against all the elephants and everything stacked. Why can't we have catapult now? It would be a perfect shot into that huge blob of opponents. I mean, everything here right now, this is really unsure. We are really unclear which way this is gonna go. Opponents probably would have captured this easily if they would have defended their archers, instead of everybody going after me. And well, I mean, the typical naive players, so it is expected for them to have poor awareness. Those horsemen helped me a lot, who ramped those archers straight in the back. Such a victory. I think they might have had infiltration on, but still, that is not an excuse. People need to be aware of those things. I know it's hard to be aware of it every now and then, but that's the game we play. So it seems we're doing great. Our swordsmen are delaying opponents at our base. Most of our friendlies have stopped opponents from capturing at this place. And there just seems to be 1 unit of horsemen, or perhaps even a single horseman around, just hoping to decap my team members a wee bit. Ooh, this is a hard one. I mean, they are going to be capturing at a good rate. Only question is, are they going to be capturing a wee bit faster, or equally, or just slightly slower? If it's slightly slower, we actually have a chance. But if it's faster, we need to deal with the horsemen. I mean, this is a very delicate situation. If they get their charge into the right unit and manage to do damage to them, this can easily be turned into a defeat. The horsemen and the swordsmen and I have bought time, but if these horsemen get to deal decent amount of damage, it probably was all for nothing. So this is always a nice situation. You see something so little yet so fast, so mobile. It could be dealt with, but then again, it is not easy to deal with. So everything is very delicate right now. Only one horseman left. That is somewhat nice. And it's coming in for the kill. And oh, shh. And it wasn't able to decap. Yay! Such a close and nasty victory. But okay, the scoreboard. Well, I actually did quite good for myself. I did some offense, I did a wee bit of defense, a lot of support. Don't know how that came to be. And, of course, good amount of decapture. So the beginning was rather horrible. What annoys me the most is that we didn't have any good elephant counters. We had only one single unit of light artillery, which I wouldn't consider a counter. Okay, we did have the javelins, but so did the opponents, and ours don't seem to have been much of a use. But what I can tell you right now is that the opposing pikemen, played with Leonidas and one unit of spearmen, died miserably at my hands, and that was my perfect use. Perfect use of the war dogs, and, well, it didn't help that he was stacked, which caused even more harm. He could have probably avoided a lot of it, but this is how it went down. When I got the nice drop on my opposing archers, I also got some support from the best Arminius in my team, who was rather great in helping me, delaying some opponents, and, well, not delaying, delayed capture of the opponents. The opposing team's best Arminius probably could have saved their archers. Of course, the same could be said about Caesar's one unit of sword infantry, which at the same way went into my handler unit. I mean, they pretty much exposed their archers and made it so easy for us. And the opposing team's second best Arminius player was the one who was trying to do something with his two, maybe eventually it was one remaining horseman. That was funny to see. It was surprising they didn't decapture because they managed to slip through other horsemen units, other cavalry units. But I guess the overwhelming number of archers just scared them. So at least once I got to use my war dogs nearly perfectly. It was an interesting match. It was nearly all for nothing, but at least we managed to make it work. So don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.